It's the 80s Experience on FM 88.5 KSBR with JJ Buchanan. She is the lead singer of one of the greatest bands that came out of Los Angeles during the 1980s. Lead singer Dale Bozzio of Missing Persons. Dale, how we doing?
I'm doing awesome.
That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, doing great.
And how did you meet up with Tyrion Warren in the early days of Missing Persons? How did that all come about?
Well, actually, the beginning of Missing Persons was all stemmed from Frank Zappa. I idolized Frank, and he is my endeared friend forever and ever. He launched our careers. I would say he launched my career. Anyway, Missing Persons became together after I met Frank in 76, February 10th, on SIR Studio Instrumental Lots in Hollywood. And that day when I met him, he was rehearsing there for Zootaloris, and the album was with Terry Bozzio and Patrick O'Hearn, and on violin, Eddie Jobson. Mm-hmm. So when I heard Frank's music playing, and I walked into this warehouse, and Frank said, "Oh my God!" He remembered me from Boston. We had met in '72 when I was at another concert of his. And then he said, "Oh, let me introduce you to the band. This is Terry Bozzio. I couldn't believe it. This is Patrick O'Hearn." And of course, they both ended up being Missing Person people. And that day he said, "Listen, I'm looking for a girl named Mary to play this part in Joe's Garage. It's tomorrow, and you're the perfect girl." And I said, "Oh, no, Frank, I came here to be a movie star. I don't know how to sing. I can't do that." He said, "Don't worry, you'll be a household word when we're done with this." And I laughed and thought, okay, this is crazy. He said, "Listen, do you have any money?" I said, "No." He said, "Do you need a job?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, how about tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock at the studio, and you're Mary, and we record?" I said, "Okay, Frank, if you think I can really do it." He said, yeah, we'll put you on the payroll." And so he said, "Meet Terry Bozzio tonight at midnight. He'll make sure he gets you there tomorrow." And I was like, "Okay, sure."
Frank Zappa, helped you guys on the band's first self-titled EP, and the tune "Boy" it got a lot of airplay here in Los Angeles. How did the EP come together with Frank, and how did that all come about?
Well, Frank looked at us one day, Terry Warren and myself. Terry and Warren are maestro musicians. They're two of the greatest players in the world. They were Frank's. So Frank, I was just along for the ride. I was Terry's girlfriend, and I stayed with Terry for like 9 years, married him and the whole 9 yards, and I love Terry and respect him highly. Anyway, Frank looked at us, Zappa looked at us one day and said, "You three should start a band and call it the Cute Persons." And of course, I took that, to the greatest, highest degree and said, "Yeah, that's the way to go. That's what we should do." But we all looked at him and said, "Oh, you're Frank, we work for you. We can't do that. We wouldn't know what to do." So anyway, Terry decides to go on tour with UK, and Warren and I leave the Rainbow one night, and he says to me, "Write a song called I Like Boys." I went home, wrote the song, came back, we recorded it on the boom box. I took it to Terry while he was in Vegas with UK, and Terry said, This is fabulous. Let's record." And we did.
The Spring Session M album, I remember being when I grew up here in LA in Orange County, and when I was a kid, I didn't want toys when I was growing up. I just wanted records and went to Licorice Pizza every Friday and spent money on buying records. And I remember buying the Spring Session M album and the tune "Mental Hopscotch." What was the inspiration behind that tune?
Actually, Terry Bozzio wrote that song, and he probably wrote it about me. Other than that, I don't know. We'd have to have Terry.
Okay, well, we'll have lunch with Terry maybe next week, and we'll chit chat with him.
That's great.
How did you guys get signed to Capitol Records in 1982?
Well, we searched every record company, and they all said no, including Capitol Records, said they wouldn't be the direction. We would not be the direction of the music for the 80s. So I decided to invite the president of Capitol Records to the concert that we sold out at Santa Monica Civic on our own. We had no, obviously, help with it. We did it out of the car, posters, such and such. And the president saw the show, and right after the show, he said, "You've got a record deal, that's it." But we had to go for 1 year. We rehearsed and we put posters up. Believe me, we deserved that record deal. We
Absolutely.
truly did. and we worked very hard for it.
And I know that first EP, you guys did the self-promotions on that and sold thousands and thousands and thousands of copies of that thing.
Yeah, we did. We actually outsold the Pretenders at that point when
I
the
love it.
EPs were for sale, which was really crazy. I mean, but we we were diligent, and we just decided. I don't even know how we had the guts to do what we did, but we believed in Frank Zappa, and Frank believed in us, and that was all we had, and that's what we lived on, and we became. All I can say is we became we became the noticeable ones for sure.
Yes, and I love that track, by the way.
Thank you.
And I always loved the tune that got a lot of airplay here on in Los Angeles on K-Rock and those great stations. The tune Destination Unknown. How was that particular tune invented?
I actually have a poem book coming out that my son is helping me with.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote Destination Unknown in 1976.
Wow.
Because I've been writing my whole life. Since I'm a little girl, I would always write poetry. And when I met up with Tyrion Warren, I said, you know what, the funny thing is I've got tons and tons of books here with lots of songs that I wrote in them and poems. So we would sit on the living room floor and tear them apart and take out words and take out verses and put them to music. Then we made them.
The look of Missing Persons during the heydays, I'd like to say, of MTV, you guys were, very, very high rotation on that station. And what's the background on the music video for Words? It was so very different than anything else they were playing on MTV at the time. How did the music video for Words come about?
Words was something that we... let me see. Really, Terry and Warren. Warren mostly was always behind the storyline, Terry wrote Words, and the way that got filmed was like about 4 o'clock in the morning, and we ended up using the video and sending it to MTV. And I had to climb up the fire escape to get our record played on K-Rock. We were really on the download. People looked at us and got scared almost. Mm-hmm. We were, anti, and we were so radical.
Right.
We could have started a revolution if it was, 20 years ahead of ourselves.
And what was that experience like for you personally to be a part of the US Festival in May of 1983 with all those great bands, all you guys sharing the stage together? What was that experience like for you personally?
Oh, it's breathtaking. I stepped out on that stage and I inhaled people. It was insane. Couldn't see the end of it. They were a sea. They looked like Malibu Beach. It was just the most incredible sight ever. And I actually had a Polaroid with me and took a picture of it. It was just so overwhelming. I just stopped everything and just said, I got to take a picture of this. This is insane. No one will believe what I'm looking at. But it happened, and I was just, I got to stay on the side of the stage and watch Stevie Nicks, and Lindsey Buckingham was there, and my Lord, David Bowie blew my mind. It was something I'll never forget. I've got the master copy of that festival in my closet over here.
Nice.
Thinking about pulling it out.
What are you currently working on today? I know you're doing some painting, and what else are you currently working on?
I'm playing a few concerts here and there. I'll play the Coach House in January, the 5th, I think it is, as a matter of fact. My friend Gary owns the place, and so I always go and play there. Hide nor hair. I go there once a year to see him. And I'm living in the Bay Area, so I'm writing. I've written a poem book. I would like to get that released. As I said, my son will help me illustrate it. And I'm going to just look after my sons, who are the lights of my life. I'm grateful enough to have some family left. And I wrote a life story as well, so that it may come to fruition. I'm thinking maybe a documentary or something. I don't know. Still my heart belongs to the movies. I'm the biggest Marlene Dietrich fan ever, and I live in black and white. So I'll do my best to put some paintings together and release some of my Helmut Newton photos, the best I can, to keep my friends that love my music so much. I just want to give something to them.
Absolutely.
the best I can. I mean, I can't cure the world's woes, but I will try.
Absolutely. That's the spirit, Dale. I love it. I love it. And Missing Persons is going to be performing live at the Coach House in San Juan on January 5th. Miss Dale Bosio of Missing Persons, thank you so very much for being a part of the 80s Experience tonight. I really appreciate it.
God bless you.